Hello, my Kako. Pikachu is here live. We're on the west side, best side, Makaha. Despite everything going on, we have to put our feelings aside to address real issues, such as how do we empower the youth? We have this program called RYSE RYSE. But it's controversial at this spot right next to me. You're going to see everyone here because for this property, there's no conditional special permit. And they also don't have the emergency proclamation under Josh Green for this location. So we have aunties, uncles, residents, concerned people all here. And we want to get all of the sides to address all the issues. We don't have a problem with the program. We just don't want it here. And I caught the bus here, which is not very safe, especially at night. And all these druggies are right in the corner by 7-Eleven. Yeah, to show. Then Uncle Austin picked me in the corner, but hey, don't do it. Because it's so bad for me catching a bus. And if I was a girl, I feel like I'd get the kind.
We could walk this street at
So
night.
we have the real aunties. She actually lives right here. And we want to get her testimonial before the whole Hauser comes in, because this personally affects you. Can you introduce yourself, Auntie, and say how you feel?
And I own this property. And I don't need people over there. That type of people. They told us it for kids, but then to turn around to us.
18 or 24 for that program.
So they don't come over. The goal for us is just so we can talk so we can hear each other. Yeah. So I said I will talk to my auntie, but we want you guys. We know where you guys stand. We know that.
I know what's going on.
Yes. They're gonna come, they're willing to come over here. Because I'm not picking them.
We're not going there. We know what's going on. We know we have no rights. They're right here on our property.
So we just like, we like, let them come, but
my family and my neighbors.
well, my number
one question is,
What is your concern? Yeah.
Why here? Why here on the street? Why do they want to bring adults, not kids? Why do they want to bring adults who have problems, mental problems, addictions, whatever? Why do they want them here on our street?
Come, yep, Vicky.
Our street have no lights,
No sidewalk?
police far
Nani,
away.
you get no home.
Nothing.
Nani, yeah, but no
Find
home.
jobs up here. When us residents get hard time finding jobs on our own, and those guys gotta look for jobs from here on the bus, man.
My main reason
Your concerns, yes, Auntie, so we know how you feel.
grandchildren.
Great-grandchildren and great-great.
Don't you have a school too close by?
The preschool, they close
Right, because you're supposed to be at certain yards, right? You're not supposed to be certain feet.
My kids come here every day. I have my grandchildren come visit, come clean and out.
our babies running
And
around the place.
you guys like people like that over here that see me. I don't know nothing about them. I'm sorry.
And you heard about the Carla incident, right? Where a woman was raped on the premises. Yes. So we're also concerned because the Salcidos, Peter, your neighbor, we're all saying no. So why they keep on pushing a yes?
Exactly.
Sometimes I'm here.
Why are you gonna force something like that?
I feel that they're ignoring me. Salcidos called me. Usually it's just the three of us complaining, but no. That's all I want to hear from you guys.
And if you guys bring them over here, they're not in high school. I have grandchildren that is men. And what? You guys can do something to us and we cannot not invest in you guys.
Especially if they're underage.
Oh, the liability, right? Because of the...
Come on.
Yeah.
We're talking about the new law that Josh Green signed in HB 103. So even the 20-year-old who shot the 9-year-old, I know he got the ammo, how he got the gun, but now you can't even prosecute him to the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
It's like giving the cartels and all the members a pass.
I will tell you guys the truth.
That's what we're gonna.
Okay, so I guess we're just gonna meet in the middle of the street.
Whoever like to go in the shade.
Yeah, we know where you stand. You wanna come and feel me? But you want me to just go in?
I'm not going.
Oh, I'll go over there by the street.
I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah, you come in.
They don't care about us. So they don't care about us. This is a family show.
I was to say, this is our home and we will welcome them and they don't like us. Yeah, they're out of stand on the street.
It's hot. It is hot. I'm willing to go back and forth.
So, what's the matter? This kid come in because this kid comes here. Are you freaking serious?
On private property.
Well, you know what? You're afraid of that
They're
old
afraid
lady.
that you
You're
might.
afraid that old
They're
lady.
afraid that there might get cracks on your private property.
That's why she got to stay on the side.
That's why they're on that side. That's why we know. Everybody knows. Okay, but this is your property. Kids, grandkids, they have to dress you all absurd. Yeah, and it's not safe when you know what's going on.
Right now, we just lost the
Rape is eating us.
At night, you cannot see.
He live here 60 years and never had one problem. My neighbors, nobody.
You see what I'm saying? The one why is parked in there and all that, and you know that. I said, this is a city problem. That's no city council. You know, to put a council, they won't vote for me. I said, that's your problem, you go handle it.
But as a need,
what you want to do for them to see how this is going. Because other than that, you're not watching them all day.
Like comments, they know time to tell me don't come in my fucking property. All you guys don't come in nice.
And she was one.
If we do something to them, we can do something to us, but when we can be not into them.
Bye, Felicia.
That fucking Howley, she gotta go. We don't like Howley's for shit. I'll conquer the first one already.
Kevin was trying to come in here, but he gets a wheelchair, so he cannot.
Thank you, Jesus. It is great to
Wasn't there? I think it's
Wait, Chris.
So you can hear everyone's concerns. Bye.
But thank you for coming out and introducing yourself.
She's willing to walk halfway. Can we do it in the shade? Why would you do it in the shade?
They don't want to come.
hi, Nani. Nani, I'm in his car. Yeah.
Put them in writing.
So you do it.
Building already. You already thinking things out.
Yeah.
It was mainly for that.
Yeah.
This was more for the resident.
Yeah, no, that's what
Councilwoman
I
has
can
said
set up another
something.
meeting later if everyone else needs, but it's just for the residents.
Yes.
And Carla was under the understanding that that's what it was. So she's fine. Yeah, just call
Let me go call Chris.
and you can do it. Okay, let's just get started.
He's right there.
Are we doing it in the street? Are we doing it here? What?
That's what we're supposed to be.
So it's a very controversial issue. I want to summarize this. No one has a problem with RYSE or empowering youth. The issue is with this exact property, and the residents are concerned because they have kids and grandkids. There is no conditional use special permit for this property, and there is no emergency proclamation for this property. And it keeps like repeating ourselves. And so now we're trying to have this meeting to go on neutral ground with the residents and everybody else. So we're going to keep a live stream for all of you guys, so you guys can hear the truth. And eventually I'll bring my camera on that end. But Andria's here, Chris is here, their staff is here. Despite everything that happened, we're still live streaming. For all of you guys watching at home who want to know the truth and are curious, because tomorrow is our city council meeting where Andrea becomes the vice chair, Esther Kiana, they're both getting promoted after going to Samoa, become mother year. And now we have a bill that's HB 103, signed by Ken Koku Iwamoto, who helped introduce it, and a couple other people, and it's helping minors get away with crimes, murder, and death. Doesn't make any logical sense.
20 plus years. It's been going on. It's only the white people. It's been going on 20 plus years.
So actually, yeah.
So you wanted to start like this. Nani, we're going to have this. We have halfway house.
No.
No.
This was a private residence. Like that. No, that's the problem.
Yeah, there's no coming over here. No.
A white dude.
There's an honest street down.
Not from this, not even from this planet. That's Anunnaki. You know, ancient aliens? Not even total blonde hair. But they turn red. You're definitely an alien, bro. Not from this planet. Our skin is brown. We absorb called melatonin. Epidermis, bro. I went to school. That is not our epidermis. That is not our ohana.
You read the right, the blank. Number one, this is the way. Why did they bring $3,500,000. Oh,
But thank you.
look at the pump.
I know that wasn't the subject to bring up right now.
Nina said, don't touch me. Drama. Yeah. Nina told city council, don't touch me. Cruising them, but her and Andrea don't get along. Because Andrea is awesome. That's Auntie Blanche. She runs Ramanaro. She's holy. I have no idea what that is. That's an alien. That's the Anunnaki. I have no idea. You're turning red. Carla Hauser. No, you should sit. That's the one that's running RYSE. Ooh, my camera being called that way.
Everybody's saying, oh, you know, like, listen to that. Listen to him. That's why we're here. No, listen to one person, though. We're here sitting in one community. We're here to do that today.
We gotta go on private property.
We can't, you know what? We came out here thinking, this is where this is going to happen. We wanted everybody to see this.
We're talking about this property here. You guys don't know on camera. The meeting is starting. They're already getting to heat arguments. Lena told Andrea, don't touch me. Ooh. Oh, Lena told Andrea, don't touch me. And boom! I'm like, oh, my camera's being called the other direction. So they're talking about this property. Now, no one has an issue with RYSE or empowering the youth. The residents have a concern about the place because it's not really safe. There's no sidewalks. It's dangerous at night, and the bus route isn't the greatest, especially at night. It's dangerous by 7-Eleven. So you can see and feel the heated arguments already. Yes, Pikachu's going to capture it. Oh, I am non-biased. They don't even pay me. Pikachu gonna get it all.
Hello, my couple.
You want a chair? You wanna sit? Kapuna, sit down. Full house, everyone.
She said, yeah.
My mom called me. You wanna sit? You can sit.
Thank you, Nutty.
Mahalo kako for being here this morning.
This is a very important matter that we need to discuss for everybody. And we can't do this without aloha. Yeah, and so I'd like to just remind us of what that means, because we tend to forget what aloha really means. Yeah, aloha means to be gentle, to be kind. The first letter of E, akahai, to be gentle, to be kind. Right? Listen with unassuming minds. Right? The L stands for lokahi. Lokahi in Hawaiian means unity. And right now we're not starting off in unity, but we can get there. We can get there if we allow each other to sit, listen, yeah? Pa'akawaha, nanakamaka, ho'olohe ka pepeau. Right? Because we all have ideas, information, experiences that leads us to the understanding that we have, to the perspective that we have as well. Right? Lokahi. Olu olu, that's the O in aloha. That means to be gentle, to be
Pleasant.
to be pleasant. I'm nervous over here because there's a lot of tension that I can feel in this area. Olu olu means to take yourself down, yeah, and look at each other from this level, yeah. That also means ha'a ha'a, to be humble in that same respect in how we speak. We don't have to yell. We don't have to divide. We're divided too much, kako. We need to come to a medium and find that space. The last is ahunui. That's patience. This has been for a while already. But we can come to victory if we do just this. In pono, in aloha. So please just breathe real quick. Let's take 3 breaths. Hanui loko. Ha. Hanui loko. Breathe in. Ha. One more time. Breathe in. Ha. Ha. Just listen to the vibration of these simple words that speak what I was just talking about. E aloha e aloha e. If you know to sing this with me. E aloha e aloha e. Over time, please. E aloha e. I know you all know that word. E aloha e. Mahalo for being here again. You can start the meeting.
So much aloha for you, sis.
Just in pono for our people. We're not in pono in any way. And we need to stop that. We really need to stop that. Let's figure it out, kako. For the betterment of this community and for the betterment of our kids. Because I don't like to see them on the streets. I don't like to see them doing drugs. I don't want to see them houseless. So how can we fix this? Because that's not happening. That cannot happen. We have too much going on the coastlines of our moku.
That's why I get my grandchildren with me.
I know.
I don't
I
want
understand,
that.
Auntie. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Thank you, Nani.
Mahalo,
Can be
kako.
nice.
So if you guys want to have a seat, you
Advice.
can, but please welcome. This is Auntie's house. Yeah? So Auntie, do you want to
I
just...
live yourself only 7 years. Never had problems with my neighbors and nobody. But they're not going to bring rubbish over here to my place. Because I have grandchildren. I get 2 great-grandchildren. I'm a big grandma. And they're not going to bring rubbish over here. Because I don't know what kind of things they did and they can come do it over here. To any one of my neighbors, because they will all get children and grandchildren. There's a lot of empty land in the mountains. Put them up there. Why bring them to our home? Right here, it's our home. Take them, put them far away from us.
Thank you, Auntie.
Thank you, Auntie, for sharing.
Thank you. The objective of today, guys, was to allow for the Noholio residents on this road to have their voices heard, but not to anybody, actually specifically to RYSE. So we have Carla Hauser. She is the executive director of RYSE, and I've made it very clear that I do support their organization. I do. Okay, I've made it very clear that they help at Ulehava. They've helped many of our youth get out of the streets, get out of homelessness. So what we're talking about here is location, yeah. So let's have a talk. I'm just going to mediate. I do want to acknowledge that we have Senator Court here, and we do have Chris Maoka here. He's right there. Okay. We're just here to support the community. Again, this is a residential area, so there's residents that have lived here for many years, and then we have Carla, who did purchase the property here, so they do have rights as owners of the land. But then again, we are in a neighborhood where we all want to get along, right? So as you guys know, there's been many a communal living project that has been put up in Waianae Valley that's had lots of opposition. Yeah, people don't want homeless near them, they don't want this, that, but they've had to go and resolve it. Back in the day when Tupola bought that property, nobody wanted them up there. Everybody was on the street protesting them. They had to go and resolve all their differences.
What did that help though?
Well, right now, they're about to move everyone out of the harbor, so I'll get to that. I don't want to deter, but I will say that there was a very steady opposition to what they did up there. But they had to sit in the street. They had to mitigate the problems with the guys who were on the street.
Can I say something with that?
Yeah.
So they did that, right? To help the homeless. So they did that homeless housing that they built right across the harbor, right? That white tent. Yeah. Then they bring in more people just like this. Fill that thing up, and then there's no room for anybody else to open up.
So Paiolu has 30 openings. Auntie Twinkles and them are actually just going to move the people from the harbor up to the land. So that's about 200. So today, let's talk about this. So I'm going to start off with Carla. She's going to introduce herself and her organization and what they do. Okay? So if we don't mind, we're going to give them the floor and let them talk a little bit. Carla, thank you for being here.
Hello, everyone. My name's Carla Hauser. I'm the founder and executive director of RYSE. We have been in existence for 7 years now, and RYSE started because we saw that more and more young people were being priced out of housing, affordability, and we saw our Hawaiian youth, other Pacific Island youth, disproportionately being overrepresented in homelessness, injustice involvement, in foster care involvement, and we wanted to do something different. We just wanted to provide them a safe place, someplace loving, someplace nurturing that could connect them back to culture, back to community. And so 7 years ago, we opened our first project up at the Kawailoa Youth and Family Wellness Center. It's also known as the Hawaii Youth Correctional Facility. And in that space, we have enough beds for 20 young people to come in, to have a safe place to sleep, to be connected to adults who love and care for them, and to first and foremost just create a safe space. And what we found very quickly was that those beds were filled despite being on the Youth Correctional Facility campus, despite being a mile from the nearest bus stop. And we continued to expand. If you've ever been up on the North Shore, Haleiwa Elementary School, directly across the street, that was our first transitional housing program. That is 3 5-bedroom houses. There are 15 young people who can live there. And again, once young people are stabilized, we make sure that they get connected to education, employment services. About 40% of the young people who come to RYSE have not yet finished their high school education. Right? We know that suspensions in schools disproportionately affect our kids. 60% of our youth are former foster care youth that have been in the foster care system. And so you guys may or may not know, when they turn 18, there's not a lot of really affordable housing options for young people. And so the area, so despite having, a shelter in Kailua, what we were finding was that every year only about 13% of the youth from the Waianae community were coming into shelter. And some of you guys, I circulated some statistics that we pulled from Partners in Care, and what we've seen over the last 5 years, and this is data from KWO and also US Vets, that there has been a steady increase of youth ages 18 to 24 that are experiencing unsheltered homelessness in District 7. I checked with our outreach manager, and we're working with roughly 70 unsheltered youth right now from Nanakuli to Makaha. 70 unsheltered. About 7% of the youth who actually come into our care annually are trans, mahukane, mahuwahine. And so we had an opportunity. We had 2 private foundation donations that allowed us to purchase the lot next door. And that's because we wanted to keep young people in their community. Many of the housing, we now have 110 beds that are our responsibility for young people, that's developmentally appropriate and deeply affordable. And we have a few of our youth that are here with us today, and I want to mahalo you for showing up. And I hope that there'll be more opportunity for you to meet our young people, because they're not rubbish. They're beautiful, beautiful human beings who are deserving of community. And so we, approximately 2 years ago, we wrote for congressionally directed spending, and we received $3 million from Senator Schatz, Senator Hirono, and Representative Tupola. And that allowed us to build small census housing for young people. And it could have been anywhere on island, and we chose the Makaha community so that we could bring developmentally appropriate, affordable housing for our youth. The plan is to have 20 small kauhale and rebuilding the house that was there. We're also we're working with Uncle Francis, Kumu Francis, who's a traditional hale builder. And we are going to build a hale with community kitchen. And the back acre, we are still working with some youth partners. And our goal is to be able to create a space that is self-sustaining. We want to be able to grow food here. We want to be able to, we've even talked about fire mitigation with sheep, with goats, and keeping the land to its country zone as much as possible. And so I think I can stop there.
Can I do some follow-up? Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah. I have Nick Thompson, who is our Director of Street Outreach. Kaile Bobo, who is a tremendous advocate. She's a member of the Oahu Youth Action Board, which is made up of young people who are experiencing homelessness. Kaile is a tremendous success story if you get an opportunity. When we first discovered her, she was homeless here on the beach in Waianae. I have Dr. Sylvia Carter, who's our Director of Empowerment Services. So everything from education, employment, financial literacy, cultural connectedness. Of our young person, Alexis, who is one of our farm assistants who works up at Ka'ala Farm. And Stone, as many of you know her in the community, Stone has been incredible in helping us build Palina with community. For 18 months, I have been showing up to neighborhood board meetings and subcommittee meetings, whether virtually or in person. I've been listening. I've been to a lot of meetings. I've taken in more than I speak most of the time, because that's how I understand it. It's the only way that I learn what you need. And so I had no intentions of really introducing this property yet. If you remember from the last community sub-meeting, I said we were going to mitigate the fire risk and all of the illegal activity that's been happening on property. And so that's what we did. So we took down over an acre of keawe trees. We tore down the house that was there. We disposed of the asbestos. And every day we try to malama aina over there, you know, despite all the trash that keeps getting dumped over there. We've been working with Honolulu Police Department every time there's a stolen vehicle dumped over there. We've had a number of vehicles placed in front of property that needed to be towed away. I think we've towed 4.
You used to tell me when they broke that house down, that they had that what you call it? Asbestos. Well, it's in my house because they never tell us they was going to do that, and my windows, everything was open.
There's no screen.
And there was no screen. And there was nothing
to block.
My construction guy is here. So what happens is they screen the plastic on the inside of the building, and then they removed all of the paneling. They removed everything from the walls.
That all that dust coming.
And then the dust was mitigated with water.
No, bullshit.
6-foot dust screen.
That's all lies.
Using asbestos or lead or anything like that, that thing probably had lead in them.
Okay, so I'll mediate. Thank you for giving the conversation. Thank you for being your person. I think a lot of us in the neighborhood were speaking out, but she wasn't able to speak back, so she's here. So let's just address one concern, which is what was brought up. Is there going to be any further movement on the property, and if so, how will you guys mitigate so that the surrounding residents don't feel like there was adverse effects to your homes?
We did not put up the dust screens. We were not, according to my contractor, we weren't required to, as long as we had water, a water source, and we mitigated the dust. So we took videos of that happening. We have videos of the water being sprayed on all of the construction as it was happening. We have trenched the property for any sort of runoff, and you can see that the fencing is there. We took great care in taking down the keawe to make sure that it did not encroach on any of the neighbors' properties, and that we didn't have trees falling on the chickens. So
You did have one big branch fell and did destroy one chicken coop, but we did not have a chicken in there, so.
sorry, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah,
If I can make that
So
regular.
could we make a recommendation, just because in other communal living projects that we've had in the valley, they haven't been required to put up dust screens, but everybody asked for it, and they did it just as a courtesy to the neighborhood. For those of you guys who live on this street, if there is any movement on the property, would you like to see dust screens up? Hold on, Uncle. Yes or no?
It's kind of too late.
It's a requirement.
I mean,
It's a requirement.
are you guys
It was a
It's build the house.
Not at the time.
It's good, it was a
When I build the house and the inspector comes over there and tells me about all of this dust that I'm making, all of it. How do you say that maybe we can put on?
I didn't walk on the street.
It's required.
See, maybe this thing will iron out everything.
Not
We
even
need to
water
know who
was
was
on.
the contractor for the abatement project, removal, and the disposal site where it went to. Maybe you have records of that as well too. Who was the contractor? So you can hold him accountable.
He's been working with the Department of Health. He submitted everything that was everything that was necessary, and we received a letter of clearance from the Department of Health.
Yeah, we need to know what's the name of the contractor.
He's here somewhere.
The contractor.
Oh,
Can we have your card? Maybe we have some inquiries with you separately on this matter.
You can't see me come out of help. This is my concern. There's all here. Asbestos come up, my food is here. We have care facility here. We have a head start there. To find cancer that's caused by asbestos, it's going to be over 10 years. So who's going to be responsible when one of my pupunas come up with cancer? Or my pupuna come up with cancer?
So, as a contractor, can you please address that? Go ahead.
Yeah, so we did not do the asbestos. It was a specialized company that deals with hazardous waste. They came in, took all the material asbestos in it. It was in a roll-off box out here for some time.
It was not covered.
I'm just saying, that was not my responsibility, the asbestos, but it was a contractor that specializes in hazardous waste removal.
Give us identity of the project designer. Have to get an engineer to design this as abatement project itself to begin with. To see the department head, are you the engineer?
No, I'm not involved in any of that, but Carla can get you that information, because that was done very to the book. The asbestos removal, there was also some arsenic in the same panels, so that was removed as well.
Asbestos, it was, INA Environmental.
The house was there before I came here, and I've been here over 7 years. in that
Removal
house.
and disposal of asbestos containing wall and ceiling boards and vinyl floor tile material. And Auntie, just to clear that part up, if I may, the house was already caving in. The roof was already falling in, and as soon as that happens, the asbestos is in the community. And so we mitigated that by getting it out of here.
That's bullshit. The roof was leaking. That's all.
It's pretty bad.
Because when Ruthie owned that girl that was owning that house, when she came, I went there to see her because I knew her from a little girl. And I went inside the house, and that house was still up.
I want to be clear. You just admitted that you were aware that the neighborhood was being contaminated. Is that correct? You just said that. And you're the contractor.
I am not the contractor for this.
You just said that. There was leaking. There was a neighborhood with all and it was. That's what you said.
She was getting permits to remove the house.
Yeah. Okay.
Getting permits to remove the house.
But that house wasn't falling apart inside.
You're being kind of adversarial right now.
Oh, I am.
So Uncle is always adversarial. No, we love him. Hold on. Let's just conclude this thing. So Carla, what can you say to the community? Because obviously it's pop. It's finished. I think some of their concerns was happening while you guys were moving, but they never had this dialogue. They never were able to talk. So now that it's pop, can you just address it? Because there really is no going back. But do you see what their concerns are?
Excuse me, Andrea, interrupting this. Because their structures are being built on the property itself, they're going to require a septic system, a wastewater system, individual wastewater system itself. A 5-bedroom requires a one system. So multiple rooms, up to 25 rooms, will require 5 septic systems. So you guys won't have to be required to hook up to the city sewer to J. But we on Noholeo Road, we had a petition made on January 23rd, 2023. So I want to give this to you, Andrea. This is the petition that we signed on
So we're
Noholeo
gonna
Road.
talk about future movement, but let's just talk about what happened, which was the demo job. Okay, can we talk about the demo job because that's what everyone's bringing up here.
Is it still
So go ahead,
building?
Carla.
You want me to speak or? So after all the hazardous waste was removed from the building, we came in and demoed the building. It was rainy at that time, so there was a lot of the ground was wet. We put water on the building. We did dust abatement with water as we removed the building. You must have witnessed that because I
Excuse me, there was no rain.
Well, the ground was moist, but
There was no rain.
we used water for dust abatement to get
Well,
as
I
we
never see
removed it.
them using water.
The
One time I
the plan is when they actually do the grading of the property, that's when we're planning to put in a dust fence. Because when you do grading operations, that's when you do dust abatement. We had water while we were coming in. Mainly, we came in to remove the kiawe trees because of the neighborhood board being worried because we just had a big fire just up the road. They were making an issue of the fire hazard here. No, it was. I was told from the meeting that we should get rid of those trees because of the fire hazard.
Yeah, so Calamine, real quick, that a lot of these concerns were actually brought up to the neighborhood board. So one addressing was the fire hazard. So a lot of times when community addressed their concerns, we always came in with a plan right after to make sure we address the concerns properly. This house was already a problem, which you caught some of it on your phone. Yeah, she did say that, you know, it was like that. But if you guys can see the bigger picture of it, we literally took care of the problem. That was a problem, it wasn't caused by us.
Well, the question is, did you follow the legal standards and requirements?
Yes, we did do.
And which we also have answered in other meetings.
But when we actually break ground, and start having, we're going to have to do some minor grading, there will be a dust fence in place.
Okay, thank you. I think what they have answered it. Chris, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask because I just learned that in the back.
general?
No, I'm not. I just came in to assist with this
Is
particular
there a
part.
general?
Yes.
Okay, can you provide me, maybe you want to do it later? And the reason I asked for the general is I want to know, because of the, first I want to state that if I bought a house with a lien, I'm responsible for that lien. So if you bought a property with contamination, you're responsible for that contamination. But secondly, because of the contamination of asbestos, I happen to work with asbestos a little bit. Was there a manifest? Was there an inspection checked and done before you demoed it? Because when you do asbestos abatement and removal, there has to be an asbestos manifest. That manifest tells you who the contractor is, how they're doing it, what type of asbestos, where the disposal is going to be. On top of that, the gentleman here said it was sitting in the dumpster. Was it properly burrito wrapped before it was put into the dumpster? All of this can be found on the manifest. Is there a manifest?
I believe there is. We can get that for
Can
you.
you get that from the general?
Yes.
Okay, so now we talked about the demo. Carla, we're just gonna move past the demo. Is there any other questions about the demo and what happened? I think what Chris is asking is for the paperwork that we can see, and obviously for the people on this road, it'd be for you guys. Chris lives over here, he'll help you guys with that. Any other questions about the demo, and then we'll talk about other stuff, James?
I really have a question. I used to live over here in James Street for many years. I used to live with nursing home, so, but now I live in Miami. I consider this my neighborhood. My 3 kids went to Makaha Elementary. My 3 kids graduated from one high school. I've been in, like Chris, I've been in the construction business for 42 years. We did a lot of demo at Schofield, which required a lot of asbestos and a lot of contaminated stuff up at Schofield. I also did a lot of contamination remediation privately. The general contractor, whoever the general contractor, he's the one that takes over the job. He's the one in charge of all that asbestos removal, how it's done, the properly wrapped. And that involves, he has to involve the Board of Health. The main one is the Board of Health. Number 2 is DPP, Department of Planning and Permitting. Whether they have a plan in place for that remediation, DPP has to know. If there's none of that falls in place, DPP is not going to issue a permit.
James, do you have a question?
Well, my question is if can you get that information from the general contractor, since he is the main guy that's involved, he's the one responsible for all of that. That needs to be taken care of.
Yes, we're working very closely with DPP. We understand that this project is going to be under a lot of scrutiny, and we know we have to do it right. And when we mess up, if we mess up, we will stand before you and we will try to make it right. That is all I can do.
Okay.
Did you get a grubbing permit to do this?
No.
We got a demo permit.
Grubbing. You guys grubbed that.
Yeah, I think we did. I actually had
You
to pull that.
think you did? Do you know? You know.
I think.
I don't think there's not a record.
It's not a record. No grubbing.
You're having a lot of fun today, aren't you?
Well, when I see the truth and I see, people giving us falsehood to deceive the neighborhood, I get upset.
Okay, so let's
So don't do that.
Uncle, let's let them answer. Was there a grubbing permit?
That much I don't know, but I will look into it and I will. But I do have a demo permit, I have it here.
Okay, so can you guys get back to them on the grubbing
Everything stop.
Okay. All right. Any other questions about the demo? We're not going to talk about the demo after we move off of this. Uncle Richard.
I guess whenever I'm familiar with the community, there's going to be any type of construction work or any type of demolition, you're supposed to get all your permits in order and
Exactly.
the general contractor.
Exactly.
So for do a shortcut and try to jump in between, I think it was not happening. So not that it can be fixed now. So do we go all the way back to the beginning and start all over again, and you get a general contractor?
Okay, Uncle, I'll ask Carla the question. So Carla, it's done. You guys pulled the demo permit. You guys had a general contractor. You're going to give Chris some of that information. As far as I'm concerned, you guys are a pile on the property for now, yes?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying is like, I do think she can provide documentation to you guys, which at that point, we gotta check. It's there, it's not there, that's the end, because it's done. Okay, so now let's move forward, right?
Andrea,
Go ahead.
we want to make sure it was done the right way.
Well, we're gonna count on you to figure that out.
Well, I need some questions answered. First of all, manifest. Secondly, I want to know who signed off on it, city and state side.
Okay.
Because the application for demo was issued March 19, 2025, which is 2 short months ago. Okay? And again, I'm just speaking of experience. In order to get that permit, including when it has asbestos or any type of contamination, it takes a 10-day request into the DOH, and then for permit. And now, even with the emergency proclamation, it doesn't remove all aspects of permit.
Well, for
I
clarity,
understand that.
they don't have the emergency proclamation.
I understand that. That's why I put it there. Even if they did have, it would not remove the asbestos part of the program. Now, do you have the manifest? Yes or no? I don't know. I'd like to see it if you do. Secondly, I'd like to talk to the inspector who came out on site because during all steps of the process, when it involves asbestos, we have to have a written plan of how they're going to do it. When it goes into there, like I said earlier, they got to identify if it's 6x6, 8x8, what type of asbestos, and what's the plan to remove it. So, if you have the manifest, that's step 1. If you have the inspector's name who signed off on it, I'd like to get his name and number, probably in front of one of the news stations. And then, just to see it was done correct.
Okay.
Like it was stated earlier, asbestos is a long-term diagnosis. So, we gotta weigh those risks. The fact that there was no dust, the fact that we don't have a grub injury, the fact that, for me, I'm just seeing a lot of red flags on top of red flags. I stand neutral in this position. I support the program. I don't support the location. I want that to be heard. But right is right and wrong is wrong. At the end of the day, if anybody knows me, that's what I stand by. I know choose sides. I'm a pick side, and I don't hold a line. Right is right, wrong is wrong. If you guys have that, I would suggest you guys provide that very clearly. And if you have it, then can I get a verbal yes or no? Do you have it?
I'm certainly been doing it the right way. I'm a social worker running a
I
nonprofit.
understand, but you're the owner of the operation.
Correct.
You hired the guy.
Yes.
It is your responsibility.
To the best of my ability, I will tell you that it has been done correctly. There's been an inspector, there has been.
Okay, so Chris,
Excuse me, were you there when
okay, so Carla's gonna get back in. We have one question here, one question here, and then we're gonna move on. Go ahead. To Carla.
Well, actually, it's not a question, but it's just a matter of perspective from what I can see as an outside member. Chris mentioned emergency proclamation. You got to go back to the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board meeting, September 2024. You were there, okay? I remember you spoke. I attended the meeting. I didn't speak, but board member Kale Wilbur and Tiana Wilbur, another board member, they was under the impression that the governor wrote out an emergency proclamation. Yes. If you go and you look at the video on the meeting, Tiana Wilbur said at the very end, guys, we cannot do anything. They're giving us one chance of how to frame the alcoholic issue. Okay, so we cannot blame Carla for what the state did. You know, if you go look at the DPP's website, I was on there this morning. The permit was issued on March 2025. Kind of suspicious that it was that late. If you look at the thing, it says Governor's Emergency Proclamation.
On the DPP website?
Yes. So it's a matter of the process. The community is telling, the government is telling everybody that it's an emergency proclamation. We cannot do nothing about it. That's the reason why all of this process is happening.
Okay, so let me address this because I did talk to Jun Yang. Are you working under Jun Yang's office? Oh, okay. So I did talk to him about what happened when John Mizuno was here. So he did say that John Mizuno did give them a exemption on procurement. Procurement means when you bid on a state contract. This is not a state contract. So what June was saying is that there was no application. I'm going to give Carla a chance. I'm not trying to speak for her, but I had to ask, was there an application for the emergency proclamation? He said no. So he said they don't have any emergency proclamation. And on the city side, we have not given them any exemptions on everything. But Carla, please clarify.
I've worked under 3 homeless coordinators under the state's office in 4 years. And I was operating under the emergency proclamation that was given to me by John Mizuno. And since June has taken place, June brought it to our attention, and we're going to submit a new one. And again, this was first and foremost just to clear this lot and any of the challenges that it was bringing to the community. I have 7 years to build this with the federal money. I mean, every year, every day is another day of unsheltered homelessness for our young people. But, you know, the intent is, once the lot was cleared, to be able to continue Polina building with community, be able to show you the plans, envision what the back acre could look like to sustain our young people, and to be able to create that safe, nurturing place that we want for our youth.
So for clarification, June did tell me recently. Oh, interesting. Yeah, June did tell me that there needs to be a formal application submitted, and it was. And so as Carla said, she's going to submit a package because that has to be approved. As of right now in Waina, the only person that has an active emergency proclamation is Crystal Property. Okay, Auntie, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say it from the beginning. Carla did mention she worked with a professional abatement removal team, so that's what she needs to address instead of you all forcing her to answer these questions that she's not sure of. And she's going to give you guys that information, and I think we should just move on to the next one.
Thank you, Auntie. Okay, so we're going to move to the next one. I would say that, you know, the idea here was for Carla to come with as many answers, which she has, but I do think the questions were valid. So the next question that was posed by Uncle Austin was in regards to, as you stated, 20 units, I believe, and then what happens when anything, is there wastewater on the property? Would you guys be hooking up into septic? Go ahead.
So we are in the architectural place right now where we are designing the wastewater systems. We considered possibly connecting to the sewer line, but what I understand is that when you connect there, anybody else on the street that has to do a project would then also have to connect. And that's not what we want, right? And I heard that from community and attending. So we will build, even if it means I have to build 5 different, septic tanks here. But we have to build that. That is part of health and safety. We can't skirt that. We cannot. The Department of Health will make us do it correctly.
Okay, questions about septic or like the current plans that she just talked about? Go ahead, Uncle.
Basically, I'm going to fight to the background. So having that many septic systems will oversaturate the ground. Injector type of design will contaminate our precious water over here. That's going to be Kapu itself. So instead, that's the reason why we created a petition, because this is the second track on the Julio Road that's going to impact us on a set income. So basically, we're going to need our petition be honored as we residents over here to be safeguarded and come under our grandfather clause to honor our petition of January 2023. Before you folks bought this property with this intent, this is the second threat that was made to our street already. Because of for developers and large landowners, you consider as a developer, this is a business that's being brought over here. There's non-blood relation. So basically, we need to honor our petition, Andria, on this thing. Have us exempted from hooking up to the city sewer, because the prices are going to be 70% for the next 10 years increase on sewer system. It's going to run us broke over here. We can't even afford it. It's gentrification, gentrify this whole street. Kapu. No way it's going to happen.
So another thing that RYSE would have to do as they get closer to their completion would be through the city, and it's for non-related people to live on the same property together. So we're not at that point. So the point that she's at is the pulling of the, purchasing the land, pulling of the permits and clearing. So I think there are multiple times where you guys are going to have to interject, and she's standing right here. But I just wanted to bring that up because what Uncle's bringing up is when multiple people live on a property unrelated, there is a permitting process for that. Nancy, go ahead and Uncle right after.
Okay, the whole thing was collaboration. Okay, these are majority of them the homeowners. There was no collaboration. They tried to ham out the residents. We do not ham out my coconuts. Okay? There could have been a neutral ground, but when you ham out the residents here, that is not porno. You guys talking about porno? Porno should have been done from the beginning. That is not porno. You know? So, no, I'm talking. You take your time. Please respect it. Okay? Okay? We did have community meetings. Okay? Once again, when I speak on behalf of my kupunas, the homeowners here, because some of them cannot get the handyman to go. They turn around and try to hammer me. I'm talking as a resident for the kupunas. Because number one, the septic, what you guys gonna put, you do not compromise the homeowners. You do not turn around demand out of my kupunas to come out of there or call it the rest of the money for sewer line. It is not a state problem. It is a city problem. You handle it. It's a city problem.
You believe in resolution?
But the state turned around and said, the city points to the state points to the city. While we all here from different areas, we fighting upon each other. Supposed to be answers for us. They did have 2 new people that came in office. They got a lot of us left.
You're hearing it live stream.
And this type of operation, you got halfway houses on J Street, halfway houses down here, halfway houses. Government operation, state operation. I still didn't get the answer from city or state how much Kanakama Orleans was on the beach that was held, how much graduated from this type of operation. All I didn't get the paperwork. How much? Nobody knows. How many that been one-way tickets coming in downtown, we push it in our community. And we supposed to
1,000.
Yeah. No, you listen, you get your dollar. Okay?
1,200 is the number and growing.
Okay?
Yeah, I got 3 questions.
How do you malama them? When you guys cannot even malama us.
Okay, Auntie, I got 3 questions. So first one is, when she's saying that the residents were skipped over, I think in my mind, the only thing that was really happening is that bringing the project to the neighborhood board and not to the direct residents is what she's referring to. I don't think they were necessarily.
There was a letter sent, right, to Auntie?
Oh, there was a letter left on the table one day that we found.
Not sent.
There was a letter.
Okay, hold on. Can I finish? I'm just going to reiterate her question so Carla can answer. The second question that Auntie brought up was in regards to the septic and the wastewater. The only reason I bring that up is because for every project in this area, that's been our biggest problem, right? A lot of these areas, no more sewer lines inside. Lots of people have cesspools over here still. It's ag land.
No,
So once,
I have septic and I have to pay $10,000 to
yeah,
put it
it's
in.
very
That was
costly.
20 years ago.
But then once, so what happens is once they draw in a sewer line, then everyone has to connect. So that's what's being referred to, and that's why Carla was saying they were going to do septic to not draw in the sewer line that everyone has to connect to. So that's the second question. The third question that Auntie was asking was in general about homelessness, which Carla can answer. How many youth, how many Hawaiians were helped in your organization? Okay, so those 3 questions, Carla, go ahead.
We purchased the lot in October of 2023, end of October. I went to what I understood was process, was how it was supposed to work. I went to the Homeless and Housing Committee. And at that meeting, I said who we were and that we had just purchased the lot and that we looked forward to working with community to build something here that could serve our youth along the coast. By the time I got to the first neighborhood board meeting, I was met with a letter from your office, right, in opposition, and a petition that was signed by multiple neighbors. And I have, for the last 18 months now, been trying to change the narrative that many people think our young people are. The types of youth, at-risk, delinquent, problem
With all the crime that we
kids.
with all the crime that we having is with young people. All these shootings that we
Stay
having
in homes,
is with
but
young
that's not the
people.
house
Hold on.
they stay.
Can Carla answer? Carla, please answer.
That's kids in homes shooting
Okay,
guns.
hold on. Carla, answer. Hold on.
Yeah, and so since that very first meeting, we have been trying to just listen, trying to hear. I've been showing up. You know I've been showing up. And we've been we just keep showing up. Sorry.
Second question, septic.
Septics, yeah, like I said, we have to do it the right way.
So this is concern was the way that the septic would affect the surrounding areas. Do you have any answer to that?
I don't. I know that we're going to do it within the right way, within what the Department of Health is going to require and what they're going to allow us to do.
Just on the topic itself, we need a resolution, because based on our petition, a resolution to grandfather clause, all the landowners that's in opposition are hooking up to the state, the city sewer. Because we can't afford the gentrification with rising
Okay,
increasing
hold on.
prices.
One more answer.
We need a resolution done.
Okay, one more answer and then we'll go to the next question. Carla, last question was, how many Native Hawaiians do you help in your organization? Go ahead.
Over 50% of the young people that we serve, it's on our website, our annual report. We see over 70 young people still unhoused along the coast. We are, as quickly as we can, some of them, we're not even requiring them to go to our Kailua shelter. We're moving them directly into housing from the streets. You know, for any of these young people to feel like they have a chance or that they have a future, we have to bring them into safety. We want them off of the beaches. We want them out of the parks as much as anybody else. We want them to have a sense of community and a home. And by bringing them in, now they can sleep safely. They can start to make better decisions. And they can finally start to achieve the goals and stability that they need in their lives. That's all we're intending to do, is just build something that's developmentally appropriate and deeply, deeply affordable for our young people.
Thank you. Okay, so we have question, and one. But just for clarification, in 2023, when my office sent out that we were supporting the petition, a lot of it was because I wanted Carla to do this, talk to all the neighbors, talk to the guys on the street. And like I said, this is not our first communal living project. Lots of these things have gotten opposition. I told Carla, please handle this. Talk to the people directly, and then it kind of escalated more and more and more, which is why we call this meeting, because we need to just see each other face to face. But now much time has passed, so this is why it's become so contentious. Uncle, Ken, did you want to?
Yeah, I got a question. Two questions actually. First question was, you're providing your federally funded funds for a particular racial group. Is that correct? No. You're not. You said 50%.
She said that's who I think.
Listen to what they're saying.
It's not only for.
Go ahead.
But you just make a statement. That's a good. That's
They
a
asked
sales
you how
pitch.
many Hawaiians are in the program.
Wait.
Are you
federal funds. You cannot use federal funds for a particular group. Illegal.
Okay, well, shut your mouth.
All that to me.
Okay, that's your right.
That was a question. Because I just heard her, she's just pimping that thing. If it's like, provide for everybody.
Drama, told you guys, live, right here on the west side. Yes, yeah, you. The heat is on.
His question is, who do you provide services for? The question was, who does RYSE provide services for? Go ahead.
So we serve approximately 150 young people per year at our shelter in Kailua. Okay? Only 13% of the young people from the Waianae Coast actually go all the way over the mountain into Kailua.
Why?
Most of them because they prefer to be here in their community. They don't want to go to Kailua.
Maybe it's because it's part of the travel. It's just like if you put housing over here, how do they go see the doctor? Well, okay, we don't have the facilities over here.
Why not come, which is one of the
Why
best
not come take care from
facilities.
all the way
Our youths are from
Okay, sorry. Next question, Lena, go.
Okay, so my question is back to the landowners on this property. Because you guys don't want a project here. What is the solution for our kids, right? Our at-risk youth. I look around here and I see a couple kupunas here that we know you guys' background. We know that you guys had hard backgrounds too. And there was an adult or somebody there that would help you guys along the way. These kids that come through this project, they're already in foster care. Their parents is already on the streets doing drugs. They have no safe place to go.
Then why don't we start?
They get aged
why
out.
don't we
I'm
start
talking
from
now.
there?
I'm talking now. And so they get aged out, and they really have nowhere to go. Okay. Now, when we talk about the gun violence, yeah, the gun violence is happening with kids who live in homes. Then we talk about this neighborhood and this street down the road, get on Trap House. Get plenty other homes around here, that is game rooms. But yet, we don't like
Choked by
Malama.
Jade Street.
We don't like Malamo, and we could be the kupuna to go and love on them and teach them how to be good people. That is our kuliana in this moku, to Malama the Kinki.
We're not alone.
Not because they're not our blood, that's not our problem. They all our problem. Because if not, they turn out to adults to have more problems. So if we can get them early, we can speak life to them. Hopefully we can put them on a better path. And if it's not here, Auntie Gina, if it's not here, where do we put them?
I suggest like the west wing of the Makaha resort right behind. It's nice, far from the camp, right on the bus line.
So that right there is owned by?
It should be owned by Hawaiian.
But it's not, so it's owned by?
It's owned by everybody that will keep giving.
Okay, but it's owned by?
Like we will give them.
So are they gonna allow us to have kids over there?
Hold on, okay, so.
I can check how many property tax. I can check that.
Have a meeting.
So one suggestion was, one suggestion was for the resort is, what is your answer?
You asked it, we have questions.
Yes.
How will the Malama our kids?
Yes.
How are you all going to expect the Malama our kids when we got game rooms? That's one of the #1 problems. You're going to allow them to introduce them to the game rooms. Because why? We do not have a houseless problem. People, we have a drug addiction problem. Let's face the reality. You got kids that maxed out from CPS. You got kids that's in CPS hands, care facilities that's getting sex trafficking.
Yes.
And you want to fix something that we tried to fix? You got to fix the main system before you bring your system in here.
Okay, hold on. So I think
It is. If you guys can all come here and go against the residents,
No, we're not going against the residents. We're trying to see how you guys can couple.
Let's get to that. I think her question was valid. Her question was valid. Hold on.
Well, there is houselessness, yeah. There are all those problems, but there also is houselessness.
Hold on.
Because the youths are coming to our facilities.
It's a valid
and they're right
question, which
there.
is
They're your neighbors.
where are other...
No matter how far you like throw them in the back, they're here.
What about it?
I think Lena's question is valid. She's asking where are other spaces. There was one. Does anyone have any other suggestions? Okay, Chris. Hold on. Chris was next. Go ahead, Chris, and then I'm going to Carla.
So I just wanted to, Lena is correct. Okay, Lena is correct. We gotta work on the kids. Okay, kids, if anybody knows me, my company and what we do, kids come first. Period.
That's right.
Kids come first. My question, and Carla, if you are okay with it, I'm gonna share about the meeting that you had in my office at the Capitol. And the reason I'm gonna bring that up is because one word you keep bringing up, I've heard it 7 times just now, and the word is affordable. You keep bringing up affordable place to live. Okay, now I bring up the word affordable, and Lena, no disrespect, I just want to expand on the word affordable. This house next door that they planned isn't for children.
18 to 24.
18
That's
to
not
24. That is what
We never
was told.
said children. We said
No.
youth in a very
Okay, but I wanna say that because in the spirit of perception, when we keep mentioning youth are the ones we all want to help. And I don't think anybody here disagrees. Our youth.
24 need help too.
I'm not disputing. I'm not disputing. But I'm not disputing. 24 does need help. And all you guys know, I'm not cruel or heartless. I have family currently living on the beach fighting addictions. Okay, so when I speak, I have skin in the game. But 18 to 24, affordable. What kind of assurances? Because at 18, the adults. And if they don't want to listen to what your counselor and or your person says, what assurances does a community have for their safety? For me, it's safety. And let's just, for sake of this conversation, check our emotions and use the 18 to 24. Because at 18 to 24, look at this gentleman. There's not one person here that thinks going to stop him if he's pissed. And let's say he was a client. So he comes home from a binge, you know, upset, comes home, one of your counselors say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, you're not supposed to be drinking. Blah, 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 blah. At night, in the pitch black, with that. We all know we're 400 police officers short, we're understaffed, response time, it's a safety thing. Now, I bring that up to say this. If it was children, you guys know where my hand would raise. But because we're talking about adults, and I understand that by definition of HUD, because you made that clear to me, by definition of HUD, youth goes up to 24. But you also explained to me, even at 24, there's no cutoff. Are we just going to continue to let them live there until they're 30? Okay, what are the, for me, it's just about safety. And if we're talking about children, if we're using the perception of children, because as I stand back there and I listen to the stories, it sounds like we're using the guise of saving our children, but really, that word affordable keeps coming up, and we all know children cannot sign a contract. And in order to be in that house, you have to sign a contract. That's why this house is being built for 18 to 24-year-olds.
Okay, so let's have Carla address. Okay, good questions. Thank you for bringing us back to center. I'm coming to you right after. Carla's next, and then I'll come to Sister.
Maybe my staff, you guys can jump in too. So we do work with 14 to 24, as I've shared with Representative. That is the federal definition, and that's where much of our funding aligns, is we align with the federal definition of adolescents 14 to 24. I want to speak to Auntie Calais, you know, talking about drug issues, and we have certified substance abuse counselors. We have a licensed clinical social worker. We have behavioral health coordinators. And we have a whole lot of grown-ups who deeply, deeply care about these young people and their futures. We work from positive youth development. We work from a lens of trauma-informed. We understand that what we're looking at is generational. And a lot of these youth, these young adults, a lot of these young adults are simply repeating. And it's our opportunity to change that course. And when I say deeply affordable, I don't mean 30% of their income. I mean $200 to keep them honest. And if they can't afford it, then they'll go in Malama Aina somewhere, they'll do some community service. But our goal is to model for them what it's supposed to look like to be a valuable member of community. Our young people have picked up more trash. They have done more Malama Aina in this community because we understand that that's important for them to feel of value, that they're not trash. They are loved. They're a future.
Also to address some of those concerns as well, we have drop-in services, right? And we have a cutoff time that people have to leave after that. So that may mitigate some of your concerns as far as people being here too late or too many people at one time. Also, for the residents that live in shelter, there is a curfew. So if one of our residents was out and they were doing whatever they do for enjoyment, they have to be at home at a certain time, and that's one of those reasons why we have.
And what if they're not? What if they pass curfew and try to get in, and you send them away? Where do they go? But where do they go? Just in case. You say, pass curfew, you guys cannot come. Where do they go?
Also,
they come and sleep in our yard?
In addition to Auntie's question, if you could just answer if there is an education, how you handle it. I'm sure you guys have had that. So that question
altercation, and again, we work with hundreds of young people a year. All of our staff are trained in youth mental health first aid. It's a 3-year certification that we do. We also are trained in crisis de-escalation. Okay? We do not want to call Honolulu Police Department on our young people. We don't. We would much rather mitigate. We would much rather teach them how to resolve conflict in a way that is Pono. Okay? If there are times where young people cannot be safe in our emergency shelter, and again, that's not what this is going to be. This is transitional housing. But if they cannot be safe in our emergency shelter, we do take a break. Young people are asked to not return for 3 days. And it gives them time to cool off. But if we constantly kick them out, if we're constantly pushing them away, how do we plant the seeds for them to become better?
But if you guys make something for them, you guys shouldn't throw them out.
You don't. You gotta really mess up.
You guys cannot throw them out.
Okay,
You guys making something for them and you guys like throw them out when they come late. No, that is bullshit.
Okay, the sexual assault and the rape that happened on your Kailua property, should we not be concerned with that happening in our own neighborhood? And what kind of insurances do you have for that type of thing happening if you see him right off the street?
So, I'll tell you this, I've said this story, and I've told this many times in many neighborhood boards. That sexual assault happened on the 500-acre Kawailoa Youth and Family Wellness Center campus. Okay? Not at RYSE, not under our watch. They walked off campus together. When she came back and told us what happened, we immediately called HPD. We connected her with the Sex Abuse Treatment Center, and we made sure that that young person got as much love and connection and support, and we to this day continue to support. That young person who was straight from Texas had a very extensive rap sheet in Texas of violence. For whatever reason, they decided not to prosecute, despite us assisting. The young person, yes. And so things are going to happen. We are here to support, to be good community, to work with the community policing. One of the steps that we want to do to build Kalina is to bring our community police out here and walk with us.
You know the hundreds of police calls that the neighbors have to make about the project.
We deal with young people who have medical emergencies. We have young people who have seizures. We have some youth at our emergency shelter that do need to be stabilized. They are seriously mentally ill.
So you will take responsibility for people who are wandering from your program?
How do you mean? If somebody from the neighborhood calls us and says, hey, I think we got one of your youth, absolutely. We'll come down.
Okay,
we'll pick them
Under
up.
the Fair Housing Act, nobody can ask any information about any housing, who is resident in the property because of the Fair Housing Act. So that's disadvantage of us.
Okay, one second, go ahead. You had a question, go ahead.
I have two questions. One question is, who's taking notes? All the suggestions and all the points of
I have
contact,
a staff
who's
member
taking
here,
notes?
and Chris has a staff member. Yeah,
Live stream.
Well, for the sake of, I mean, live stream is one thing, but for the sake of everybody being on the same page about what is actually going to be done and who's going to be talking to who, I feel like even a board of some kind where people can check off, like, this question has been answered, or this is the follow-up. I feel like that would be really valuable than having people go back to a 3-hour live stream and try to figure out what's going on.
I'll summarize it.
Okay. The other thing is, at what point in the meeting, I don't know if there's an agenda, are any of the young people going to be given the opportunity to share their own experience and perspectives? Because I feel really heartbroken listening to all of this. I'm going to try not to swear. Like, as somebody who's as somebody who, like, I'm not in my 20s anymore, now I'm in my 30s. This is the reason why kids are struggling, why young people are struggling. To hear a group of adults who are supposed to be building the world that they wanted to live in, more people are offing themselves, more young people are killing themselves than they are shooting guns. And to hear a bunch of elders and a bunch of adults who are supposed to build that world and that foundation that they want to live in this fucking world, to hear you guys talking about them as if they don't fucking matter,
as if it's not anybody's responsibility. You don't have any solutions for how you want to care for them. That's not what community is. And I wouldn't want to build community with people who fucking hate me. For people who think I'm disgusting, I'm just a problem waiting to happen. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. I'm not asking you guys. I'm just asking. I want to know when the youth are going to be given a chance to speak for themselves, and whether or not the adults who have been neglectful have been neglected and are now neglecting the young people with no solutions. Just this individualistic, Americanized. I swear, this could be a room full of white people talking about their shit. And I wouldn't want to build community with people who hate me, or who think that I'm just a lost cause because of whatever age. People's frontal lobes don't even fully develop until 25. We're playing semantics. I'm just so disgusted. Where is aloha? Where is all the Hawaiian values that are supposed to be building community up instead of excuses after excuses for why we don't want to take responsibility for each other? If we cannot hold each other accountable, how are we going to hold government and elected officials? That's not what I'm hearing. That's not what I'm hearing. And so I want to know the notes. My two questions was the notes. The second question was, are the youth going to be given space to speak their own truth and their own experience and actually have you folks listen?
Okay. Yes, we can do that. Yes. So we can give time to the youth, and yes, we can summarize the notes. I have a staff member here that is speaking those notes. I'm going to give Senator DeCourt some time. There's a couple other people who haven't spoken, and then I'll summarize before the youth talk. They'll talk, and then I'll summarize, and that's how we'll conclude. Go ahead, Senator.
Yeah, I just want to thank Carla and your team for coming out here. You know, I mean, the work that you guys are doing is being effective in our young adults and in our youth. So I just want to mahalo you for that. My priority primarily is the 96792. So because you guys are state and federally funded, you kind of be selective with who you take in. So how can I assure that you folks are going to focus on the youth and young adults here on the Waianae Coast, get them off the street and the services that they need? Because what we find out time and time again is whenever these projects are developing, there is residents from other communities and other districts that are coming into these programs, and just as it was said earlier, if they don't follow the rules, if they don't go by curfew, if they cannot come back to the house, like, they're not going to go back to their community. They're going to stay here in Waianae. They're just going to continue to grow the challenge of having young adults, youth that are out there finding the other people that don't like to follow rules, and then they're just like teaming up with them. So my priority in this is, do you have any kind of plan to effectively target the 96792, help them get off of the streets, because that's where I'm assuming we're focusing our efforts on, and get them into these programs, because, you know, to have them not follow curfew or however, and then to leave, like, they're going to stay here. They're going to go to the nearest game room, they're going to go to the nearest chicken fight, they're going to go to the nearest crime-driven block, and then they're going to continue to feed that. And so the residents here, I mean, have spoken loud and clear, they just don't want it, you know, and so I'm trying to funnel this whole thing on how we can directly service 96792. So if you don't mind.
Yes. As I shared earlier, we're working with about 70 young people along the coast. Councilmember, you know your team is out there. You know we've got many folks from the Kupuna Council who also are out there, see the young people. You make referrals to us all the time. Our street outreach team here. And I can tell you that they're working their butts off to provide basic needs services, to offer housing solutions for them. Every time a bed opens up in Kailua, we come to this coast to offer it to them, and almost always it's, I want to stay here. So community will hold us accountable to making sure that the youth that are prioritized for this location will be from here.
I'd like to add too that we do that now. We do that now. We house people from Waianae in the Waianae home that we have already here in Waianae. So we practice what we preach now.
Just for clarity, they have a home in Kahumana Farms. So they actually are in our community already.
I worked there for 10 years.
Yeah.
In the transitional
My mom works there.
transitional homes for 10 years.
That's actually native Hawaiian family.
Yeah. So I worked there for 10 years, and I know about the homeless, I took care of their babies for 10 years. So I know about the homeless. I know all the things that they've been through. But let me tell you, we had curfews. We had curfews. They broke all the time, the curfews. And where would they be spending the nights? On the streets up in Lulule, where my husband's family lives. And that's where they would roam when they couldn't go back on property. But it would be over and over and over because the social workers let them come back home. Because, oh, you need the daddy, you need the mommy for the kids. But they kept doing it over and over and over. And it was like, they'd have 2 years to rebuild their lives. They were offered all kinds of resources. Go to school, teach them how to do banking, find jobs for them and everything. But the number one big thing that our homeless people, especially the ones that, I mean, they do the drugs and the drinking and whatever, but they still can think. They don't want to follow the rules. They refuse. That's why there's so many of them living out there. I did that point of point in time. I did it. I went through the harbor in the back. The first time I did it, I was scared out of my mind because, you know, I don't know what's in there, but we did. And it was all women. And we went two groups at a time. And we walked through that whole place with our survey paper, asking them questions. But I'm going to tell you what. The back part, near the ocean side, was clean. I was totally shocked. It was clean. There was no stink smells. There was no rubbish. The people that were home watched their neighbors' properties as we did that. The front section that we did the following year was terrible. It was terrible. That's when, and we don't start doing it till 5:30 in the afternoon, okay? But a lot of them that I talked story with and everything, they didn't like the rules happening in the transitional centers. And some of them was out there living on near the beach for over 5 years back out in there, you know, and that shocked me, but I saw the difference. But then you come to the front section of the harbor, and terrible. Oh my gosh, terrible.
Okay, we're gonna have just one more question in the youth. Thank you, Auntie.
Yeah.
One more question in the youth. Hold on, guys. Everyone got a lot of ample time to talk. Uncle, you had your hand up.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys. Bottom line is the kids. What is the roadmap for them? They're not making curfew. How are we going to address that? We got neighborhoods that want them in there. And so now, how, you know, you guys are traveling. You trying to make a crooked road straight, and we're getting hard time because we're getting pushed back. Not only from Kupuna and neighborhood, but from the kids when they don't make curfew. How are we going to address this and bring it back to 100? That is going to be the test of all tests, because you guys don't have the roadmap to get there. You guys trying your best. Believe me, I hear it. You guys trying your guys' best, but at this point, the best is not good enough because we're still running into problems consistently. And once you're over 18, by law, you're an adult. Mm-hmm. Now we're coming to on requirement saying that you can hold them to 24. They're shooting guys at 18. 17. You know, so I love you guys' program and everything about it. But bottom line, we're still trying to make this crooked road straight. And we cannot get there because why? Whether we like it or not, problems coming from inside the circle, which is, I cannot make curfew. I don't like listen to you guys. So I'm going to spend two days, and then I get my ticket back into the compound. Mm-hmm. But see, all of this needs to be looked at with a fine-tooth comb, because when are you guys going to say when? How much you guys going to give these kids a chance, as much as we love them? But if they're not following your rules, you think they guys going to listen to HPD? They're not.
And they're not going to listen to us, who are the neighbors that want to come in
So
our yard.
let's let Carla answer. Okay, we'll let Carla answer, then I'm going to have some youth talk. And so you have one question for the medical personology, you have one question. Carla, go ahead.
To the point about the halfway houses, that's not what we are. As I shared, we have an emergency shelter, and that's where young people are still testing out the rules. Right? Do I want to come in? Do I want to have a safe place to sleep? Or do I not want to listen? Right? When our young people then take that next step into transitional housing, that's what this is going to be. Okay? In order to get into transitional housing, they have to commit to ending their homelessness. In order to be here means you have to be able to earn an income, even if it's only a little. And you have to be willing, you have to be disciplined, and be able to come in and get a good night's sleep so you can get up and go to work. Young people are going to do what young people do. The expectation is you come home, usually curfew is at 10 p.m., they go to sleep, they get up the next morning, they go to work, they go to school. That's the expectation for this space. We're also going to build a hallway. We're working with Kumu Francis. That's going to be probably the first thing that we're going to put here, is one traditional hallway, to make sure that that is the focal point for us. This property is also going to have an ADU that is going to be for Kapuna to live on site.
Additional dwelling unit.
Because it's important. We know that it's important for our young people. And if you're going to go sneak out, you're not going to make curfew, you're going to walk right past your kapuna. And you're going to answer to your kapuna. Because the expectation here is that we're good members of community. All the programs that we do, whatever, be the best that you possibly can in that moment.
Thank you, Carla. And I will say that any youth, any homeless person that's even coming close to getting a service provider to help them, they're interested.
Yeah.
They willing, because I'm telling you, the guys who aren't, they're not even talking to these guys. They're not even entertaining their time, because they're like, I'm not even wanting that lifestyle. So anybody that's close to entertaining what they're offering, that means that they've had some kind of change in their life, that they're ready for something different. Lots of guys on the beach, you talk to them numerous times, it's not the first time, it's not the 10th time, might not be the 20th time, but the time they are ready to talk, and if we connect them with a provider, that means they actually are looking for something. So I will say that the people who surround them are not like kind of interested, they're like very interested. So just quick question for Nancy, and then of course, because it's your house, you get a question. Go ahead.
You're a doctor, correct? You guys know you guys was in your committee meeting. Your clients had a lash out. As a doctor and as the head coordinator for the operation, why didn't you guys humble your client? I'm not asking you so. You made the decision, okay? Why didn't you guys humble? I will tell you the problem here. If you guys cannot handle your inner, how you got the inner spirit? How are you gonna heal your children? You gotta learn to heal your whole self, but you face it. Our children is always loved. I got family member who choose the bad life. Okay? I put them in my house. I cannot jeopardize my openness. If they don't want to change, there's the front door, the same door you came in. You're going to go out. But the part is, we have gone to the committee, you guys know. You couldn't even hamal your own clients. He lashed it up. Hear me out. You got a lot of people here. You got some down here who has high-end jobs. One false accusation from any of your clients and their high-end jobs, they have either will get suspended or under investigation or fired because of false accusation. So you gotta hamal your clients. And you gotta learn to heal you guys self on the inside before you help heal your kids, the children. And not look for the golden pen or envelope. You as a doctor, I'm very disappointed you could not hamal your client. Shameful. You guys allowed the client to lash out to kupunas. Now that's what I'm asking. Before you turn around, you say the children, the children, the children. We malama our children. How can we malama our children when you cannot even humble them right there and then? Shame on you guys.
This was at the education committee meeting for wine.
I feel like he's being pressured just like this. Yes, we've been in like thousands of these meetings with you guys where we hardly get to speak. You guys are just going off about the same things that we've answered a million times. He didn't lash out. He actually answered every single question that you guys had. And when you guys put false accusations on us like we're a halfway house, or they have mental instability, or they have substance abuse problem, all he did was correct it. He has no mental disability. He has no substance abuse problem. And everything that you're putting onto them, that they're rubbish, he was defending. And for you to want our youth to just shut their mouth when they're correct, tell me how you malamaing our youth that way. What Raquel said, throw them in the back of the mountain, yeah? And what you guys just said, silence them.
Not them, I say that.
Well, you called them rubbish.
Like, we get it
Put them in the bus line. Put them in the bus line, way back there. Way back there. We're going to move to the
Let's get it off.
I don't want to go on about my youth. So I just want to mention, my Makaha is here, and she's a youth in RYSE. She's a graduate of YNI High School. And she is like nothing but obedient to us. All she does is help. She's a benefit to this community. She malama aina. She malama kupuna. Everywhere I go, she's like, Uncle, you need something. Offering them, helping them walk down the road. So I just like everybody know when you guys talking rubbish, oh, these youths, this, youths, that, just know they're right here listening to this, feeling unsupported, standing on the outside. That's why you guys make you know not feel safe.
Not everyone said that.
Oh, not everyone.
I just want to be fair. Okay, let's have the youth talk. Let's have the youth talk. Do you have any youth that want to speak?
Oh, Carla wants to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello everybody, I'm Carla.
Aloha.
I'm not originally from Hawaii, but I am blessed to be able to be here. I came here from California. My mom was here. She got pregnant while being trafficked, so I came here to help her out. I came here to be her support system. And during that time, my mom's mental health went downhill. She ended up getting incarcerated, and my sister got taken by CPS, and I ended up on the streets of Andria. We were staying over at the Sunflower apartment complex, and probably everybody saw what happened with my mom and her breakdown, and having to have SWAT over there. That's how bad it was. But I came here out of kindness of my heart and the love for my family to come and help her out, and I ended up homeless. It's not like I wanted to be another person from the mainland being homeless on your guys' precious land, and I know. I didn't want that for myself, but I did everything I could to get on my feet. I called RYSE. I called 211 first, and they sent me to RYSE. RYSE, I called every day until I could get a bed spot. And yeah, there's going to be drama. Yeah, our youth some people have substance abuse issues, but that's what RYSE is there for. Some people have mental health that is unchecked, but that is what RYSE is there for. They're there to give those wraparound services. I had substance abuse issues, and that's what RYSE was there for. They helped me get sober. They helped me stay connected to my job. That was all the way in town. I was traveling from one night to town every freaking day so I could support my mom and sister. And once I became homeless, I still kept that job. Most of our youth have jobs. And the ones that need jobs, they ask for help to get jobs. And we also have services to show them how to work, how to come on time, how to talk to people, how to fill out job resumes, how to just be a normal person in society, quote unquote normal. So along my storyline, I ended up being housed with RYSE. They helped me get into transitional housing. I was still struggling with my sobriety. I didn't fall back and relapse, but I was still struggling. I was struggling with my mental health. I was struggling with depression because I had nobody here. I had nobody. I had no family. I had no community. But with me sticking with RYSE, I ended up making a community for myself. I had people who constantly supported me, constantly spoke words of encouragement and power into me that kept me going. I would not have kept going if it wasn't for RYSE. I didn't see a future for myself. And now I'm here in my own apartment. I'm a foster care mom to my little sister. I'm sober. I have a stable job with RYSE because they wanted me to come back and help advocate for youth. And being homeless here was not my first time. I grew up homeless on the mainland. I grew up homeless 23 years of my life. In cars, on the street, in shelters, couch to couch, family to family. But here, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. On the mainland, they don't have the services, they don't have the community and the love that Hawaii does. And when I came here, that's what I got. I got community. I got people who love me even though they didn't know me and grew to know me. And now I'm here to advocate for our youth. People who are coming from the mainland here and ended up homeless. No, we don't like that. But at the end of the day, we're just gonna forget about them. We're just gonna be like, it's their problem, it's their issue. No. What I've learned from you guys is that we continue to support and grow our youth. We continue to be there as many times as they fuck up. We're gonna fuck up. It happens. As the stories I hear from the Tupola, you guys have messed up so many times in your life, but yet you still have one person there for you that showed up continuously. And that's all it takes. That's what I've learned in Hawaii, is it takes one person to show up for you continuously. And that's what RYSE is here for. We're not trying to hurt your community. We're trying to bring you guys to surround your youth. I was out here homeless, and the amount of youth I saw was troubling. And to be here, to be able to open up a property, yes, I understand your concerns. I hear them, I feel them. But at the same time, this is the opportunity for us to surround our youth, to surround them with community, to show them that their constant fuck-ups doesn't have to be their future. We all have futures, and we're worthy. We're bright, we're smart. Lots of our youth are so freaking smart that they don't even know that they are. And us being able to show up for them and show them that they can do it will help them. We don't have to keep tearing them down. We can build a community around them. We can build a village. Everybody keeps saying it takes a village to raise a kid, and we're the village. And I see some people laughing, some people smirking, but it's true. Hawaii's so big on community and village. Why? When are we going to start and help our youth? Why not now? Why are we going to wait later on? Can I finish talking?
Oh, no. It's just, I'm going to elaborate what you just spoken about.
I understand, but when is somebody going to step in and help our youth? No one's helping them. There are communities out here that help out the homeless on the island, take kids in to help them, but at the same time, we need more services. Waianae especially, most of our youth on outreach, most of the youth we see are from this side of the island and they're natives. So being able to have you guys surround us with support to continue to help them would be amazing. We can have you guys treat them how to plant, treat them how to become entrepreneurs, treat them how to do architecture, treat them how to become the next doctors, treat them how to become the next board member that helps the community. They could be the next kids that come around, do community service and help you guys clean up your yards, help you guys keep things nice, help you guys wash your cars. They could be the next better generation. We don't want to see our generation go downhill. None of us in that situation want to be where we're at. But having someone surround us makes it that much better for us to change our path, change our direction. Thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate you guys.
Any other youth that want to talk?
Thank God
Any other youth? Thank you, Andrew. Any other youth that I said that I was going to let the youth talk, so let's let the youth talk. Yeah. Any other youth want to speak? Go ahead.
I'm the owner of this property. I have a son that has dementia through boxing. He's the first national bowling glove champion in Hawaii. And my son gets dementia. And I take care of him. I want something over there. I don't. So why did I put him here? This is a family street. We never did have problems. Never ever had problems. No neighbors in the street. There's a lot of empty land you can find to put these kids in. Because if they're going to come over here and they're not going to listen, I swear to God, they better not come on this property. I swear to God to that. Because I have 80 of us, me, my grandchildren, my 7 kids. And I'm not going to let nothing happen to them. We're not pushovers. You make trouble, we're going to come to trouble. You bring trouble to me, I'm not going to run. I'm an old lady. I'm 85 years old. But bring trouble to me, I give you. I don't care.
Awesome.
I raise my children to be good, to respect people. You bring people here not going to respect us.
Hold on. I have a resident.
Okay, so I'm the oldest of her children. Okay, the Rodriguez kids. I'm almost 69 years old. My grandfather had this place before I was even born. And most of our neighbors have been here 50 years and more. And that's true. We've never had, if we did have squabbles, guess what? Our kids took care of it. They grew up together, all our kids.
We
never did have that. But I do not, I mean, I am very, like I said, I worked in the transitional homes, seen many kids, you know, I work in the schools now, and there's a lot of kids from there that comes through me, you know, and it makes my heart feel good when they remember I was the auntie that took care of them, you know, the ones that graduated high school even. I'm glad everything worked out for you. I do agree with the program taking care of the youth, okay? But our concern is all it takes is one bad person at night. There is no street lights, okay? There's no street lights, never have been.
No sidewalk.
We used to go trick-or-treating in the dark all through this valley. Me, my children. The grandchildren now, it's different because things are not safe anymore. But we're still in the dark. So when I bring my great-grandchildren that are 3-4 years old come over here and play at grandma's, and I live in the back, and they come and they run up and down the street. Our kids play football on the street, okay? When cars coming, they know. Be careful who lives on this street, because the kids play on the street. And I will tell you, she sits there and anybody comes speeding from that corner to that, they get rocked. Okay? They might stop, they take a look, they keep on going, they don't come back. So I commend them for everything they're doing for the youth, but it's the safety of our kids, our children. Okay, that's it.
Hold on. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm going to summarize, and you guys can all still talk. Everyone can still talk. But we have to be mindful of everyone's time, okay? So first off, I want to thank Auntie for letting us come inside the garage. Thank you for letting us be on your property. I also want to thank Carla and her staff. Look at, they're standing there. We're all getting along for the most part. I need to say that, you know, anytime there's been a communal living project or something like this in our community, there's always been a lot of opposition. Because good things don't come easy, and because passionate people a lot of times have to find a win-win to get to the end point, right? So I have no doubt that we can get there. To be honest, I've seen a lot of projects just like this go from not agreeing to agreeing, or some projects go from not agreeing to finding a different win-win, so like a different way to move forward. I've seen a lot of maneuver, right? So all I'm trying to say is that Carla, as executive director, I've asked her numerous times to come here, speak with all of you guys, and she's here. She said that she would come. She's here. I'm glad that it's happening. But this doesn't mean that it's resolved. But what I can say is that the few things that we went over, which was some of the information about the demo, which Carla will get to everybody, and some information about what they'll be doing. I know Uncle's concern is about the septic. So there is no, it's of course more than that. Uncle has a resolution.
Building, the plans, the
There
permits.
is still the need to apply for an emergency proclamation if they use it, so that's not done, right? There's a need to do a conditional use permit if there's multiple unrelated people. That's not been done yet. So I just want to say that for now, every statement that was said does not represent all of our opinions, right? So we can generalize and say, oh, all those kupunas don't care about the youth. I don't think that's true. But also, we can't say that, oh, RYSE is against us. They're not. They're not. So I think that what we need to do is just let everyone's individual statements represent themselves. Yeah, that's not what everyone thought. It's just what that person thought, what another person thought. We're all standing here together because I'm trying to figure out a way for us to move forward. Carla's property is not a city property. It is not a state property. Yeah? So the only way that Senator, myself, or Chris Morales would get involved is if there's some permit hold or some meeting. But other than that, to be quite clear, she just has to do what she needs to do on her private property, by the law. And I think some of those questions were asked today, and she's going to clarify those. But I want and I hope that we can keep the door open, just like this.
This is all the reason why, Andrea, I invited my residents over here. It's like the sign says, rise, no to rise, no is no. Trying to keep our community safe. That's the reason why we're trying to do it. We have a culture over here.
Yeah.
We see one floodgate that's going to open from the mainland continuously. And RYSE has an advisory council. None of these guys I've seen here is from the west side. Kim Koko Iwamoto. Not only she's an advisory from Kaka'ako, they cleaned up Kaka'ako area. But instead, what she do, she introduced one of the bills, HB 103, that will lessen the crime of criminals that's under 21 years of age. It will lessen it. Any felonies is going to be lessen their crimes. So what they do, it's going to introduce more criminal activity, because now the adults are going to pick up this kid. You're going to grab this gun and you can start shooting, because you know what, you can get lesser charge. But anyway, I'm bringing over here the safety of this area. We're not supporting for RYSE operations here.
Yeah.
We're supporting cultural people here, but we want RYSE operation elsewhere.
Okay.
Elsewhere.
So
Maybe the jobs is about 70% in Kapolei. Get these jobs for these people from the mainland over to Kapolei area.
Okay.
The resources. We don't have the resources.
Okay,
We're not supporting it.
I got
It's clear.
an easy question, and that's it. I'm gonna okay, real quick. So my question, I'm gonna do an educated guess and say the neighborhood did their homework on RYSE. So for me, for being for RYSE, is what specific examples of abusive practice for RYSE concerns you the most? And that's my question to the neighborhood.
Okay.
And now I finish.
Thank you, Auntie. I think a lot of it was shared. A lot of it was shared. And I want to say again that there can be ongoing conversations. But let's be clear, this is our first time trying to talk about this, not in the neighborhood board meeting, not with other people, just right here on the street.
Right.
This is how we have to do it, guys. Yeah, because it's just the neighborhood members that are concerned with this. So we're gonna close. We're gonna close. Let's do
Andrea,
some
I'd like to say
protocol.
something before you close, if
Yeah.
you don't mind. My name is Richard Lambert. By the way,
They live here.
I've been here.
She lives here.
78 years. I grew up on the streets. I grew up with everybody that's somebody in YNI. Okay. So I've seen these things come from 1980. I was active. Kawila Clark came here. Henry Peters. All these guys, they came and they said, oh, we're going to open up this nice resort. All our Hawaiians going to work over here. We're going to take care of you guys, this and that. That's one project. We've had many projects that come here. I work for Unity House and Local 5, so we was trying to get the youths all into jobs. But when they came here, 2 months later, we get the finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. They promised us all kinds of stuff over here. What we get the finger. Okay, so now you guys come over here, you guys have this program. I used to work for Rep Center when I first came out. That was one of my places. I worked for Rep Center. I know all of these guys. I know all the bad kids. I know all the good kids.
Yeah.
We try to do the same thing you guys are doing. The thing that I guess bothers me, and like he said, the thing is for youth, we never going to deny the youth. When they come 18, I've seen them. I've seen them come in, I've seen them come out, I've seen them go to the lockup places. I've seen them. I've been here. I was houseless for 10 years, you know. So I grew up on the streets. I know all the bad stuff that happened in YNI. I know all the good stuff. I know the guys, the bad guys and the good guys and everybody else. Even the politicians that came. You know, James Akid, and they promised us all kinds of stuff. You know, everybody that's a politician came and promised us stuff. But here I am, almost 80 years old. And I sit around and I look around at what's happening. And I try to look around in this meeting right now to try to see the ones that born and raised here. The ones that transition in here and want to do great for our community. I'm not saying I'm against it. I know the programs. I affiliate with the program. My job when I retired was trying to help this program. So I never just drop out of the sky and try to participate in stuff. I've been in the stuff from 1980. And I sit on the neighborhood board since 2010. And I try to give back to the community for all the stuff that we used to do.
But when we come across this kind of stuff, we're not pitting against you guys. We're looking at the system. You guys get one system, and you guys say, oh, you get doctors, you get this, and you get that. But I see plenty of guys punching the trees and kicking the signs.
Yeah.
We're the doctors that helping them. So when they come here and they talk to me about Kaali, my family been out here 100 years. We get Hawaiian land, 999 year lease. Only first 100 went 2019. So we get 899. My sister live on the land. We get 23 acres. I'm trying to figure out how I can turn this thing around to help these guys. Okay? But we run into all kinds. Oh, you need this, you need permit, you need that. I go right down the road for Honua. They get proclamation. They build all kinds of houses. They build all kinds of stuff. My 3 cousins, they live in a tent. They live in a bus. They live in the dirt because we cannot get that kind of proclamation stuff. But hey, we're Hawaiians. We learn to eat. We learn to do what we gotta do. We gotta eat grass. We eat grass.
Yes.
But hey, who come over here and tell us, oh, we get this and we get that, and we don't offer this and we don't offer that. When I know for the last 78 years, I've seen what's happening. I've seen guys come in, sprinkle a little dust, fill up the pocket.
There we go.
I'm not against you guys. I'm not against the program. But let's fix what's broken first. Let's fix the 400 or 800 or 6,000 guys that's on the beach first before we start working on something else. It's all half. So, I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm not here for criticize. I never criticize. I never tell you what you did right. I never tell you what you did wrong. I only tell you what I lived through. And I hope you guys take it with a grain of salt. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to make it clear that we are all here because we care. Guys, we could be anywhere else right now, but you're here. Whether you're for it or against it, or you're just here for questions, it means that you care about something. So thank you for caring. Honestly, the compounded problems in our community are a lot. And so I know that it's easy for us to see one problem and then start throwing everything else around it, but somewhere we have to start, and somewhere there's a generation that has to keep pushing. If Uncle Richard, who's spent much time on this coast, much of his life giving back to our community, if he is getting tired, then the next generation has to come. So I'm grateful that everyone's here. No more questions, Manny. Let's
No, we're just making a statement. This is unsafe. Take it elsewhere. That's all it is.
Thank you, Uncle. Okay, Manny, let's
Hi,
pray.
mahalo. I just real quick want to say mahalo for being here today. Mahalo for the first part of community that I see actually trying to talk and work things out as community outside of state legislature, state business. This is what needs to happen, right? But keep in mind again, like how I said earlier, I hear all of you guys' experiences. I hear all of you guys' understanding. I see all of you guys' perspectives. And none of it is wrong. It's yours. In those experiences, those understandings, and those perspectives, there is pono still. There is still aloha still. How do we pull that for our future generation? Because that's what matters the most, is our kids and how their lives are moving forward. And so let's continue this conversation in aloha. In aloha. We'll end with that aloha again. Mahalo e nā kupuna o ka pō, e nā kupuna o ka iau, no ka ako ko ana mai a mako ia ne I ke ia la, no ka ho'ola ana ina wala au ana, oia ka mua, the talk story. Auntie, you shared about your son. Thank you for sharing that. Allow them to build relationship, if that's okay, because it starts with Pihina. One step, Auntie. We'll go end this in aloha. We start in aloha, we end in aloha. Right? E aloha e. Please sing this with me. E aloha e. E aloha e. E aloha e. us drive home safely. May all of us think about today, because again, it's not the first and the last time that we need to talk and figure things out for our people. Mama, wano.
Nani. Nani.
I would give you any advice, right? I would give you any advice. And this is
You guys can get along. One of them,
It's okay. What do you want to do
Probably get Carla. You can probably get Carla.
Sits on that. So we're seeing the same thing that we need.
You should know that the youth having this one. That's why we know yeah, and you remember us, the Hollywood family? You must know me. We all baseball players. The Hollywood. 9 of us on the team. Mama used to play with the cricket. The Joker. The Joker. Did a great job.
Pretty good at that. Stepping in.
And we used to travel. Oh, I see. Okay, and I that's far from women. This lady used to be baseball player with all of us. Yeah, all yours. Thank you very much. Thank you for
I'm listening here. Here are 3 cameras. She's getting promoted to vice chair. Hey, closing the meeting. There's nothing going to council. They live here. We're not going nowhere. This is right down the road. Andria! Oh, we're doing. No, you're good. Reverse. Come this side. We have to say congratulations. I saw the agenda. You'll be the vice chair.
It's not how yet. We're gonna vote tomorrow.
But you know how it goes. No matter what I say, it's already decided with your black and white. Come on. Everybody knows. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. And she's doing a great job meeting everybody. It's so funny.
You were so quiet today.
Oh, my issues with you know who yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're so like.
Well, they were swearing.
I've never seen Pikachu.
Oh, it's Chris. I told him today I they didn't do nothing. They kicked me out of the park for some event for 2 days.
Really?
If you don't leave, after so much. So when he said hi, right, you call him yes. So we're going to still do more interviews. We got our news anchors there, getting the story. We're getting Angie right here. Samantha the court right there. Carla, Hauser. So now we're getting the after story. Pikachu is going to summarize. The residents love the program, just not in this location. So here we are again.
not in control. We want to continue to listen to the community and make sure that whatever that we're going to require is serving one of those. And so I anticipate great meet some of the community members and the environment outside of the neighborhood. This felt much more intentional. We're here to benefit the community, not to
community members that you said that you're like, okay, we need to work on this, we need to make this more aware, focus on it that way for the community?
I think that we got to sprinkle some seeds today for some community who thought that, you know, we were going to bring youth who have mental health, substance abuse. That's not what this is. This is really meant to be something that's developmentally appropriate, deeply affordable, so that our youth have time to finish their education goals, to get themselves on a pathway to a living wage job, and not have to be burdened by 30%.
We're going to show you guys what you've been waiting for. So this is Angie's property, who's in the chair. She's getting even Samantha the court is finally down on bended knee. Our senator finally showed up down on bended knees to Kapuna. Can you see this? It's beautiful. No is no, but they keep on pushing yes. Apparently it's going to be a 20-unit property. I'm like, bro, I don't mind commercial real estate. We can do a 20 units. Let's all do 20. I'll do a 50 unit. HUD housing. Here is the property that people are curious about. So this is what they're looking at right here. It's already on private property. So they already demolished the previous structure and they plan to build various units.
No, if I was supposed to open my mouth, this is not my turn.
Why are you so quiet today?
Oh, yeah, you're still quiet here. She came by me. Oh, I love your grandson. Your grandson.
She wasn't.
Oh, I had to calm her down.
Yeah,
I know.
Ooh, I love that's the world turn.
This lady is so fishing.
I'm not the only
it's all on the camera. Fishing Portuguese.
Yes, I love it. I fucking love it.
You're a drama guy.
No, because it's so boring. It's sitting down so neighborhood board. We know we don't get shit done.
Neighbor, you gotta
ask Nigerian, they would know.
I love it.
You going?
Because I didn't do anything wrong.
Sorry, Auntie.
No, that's no problem. You too. Hey, text me. Yes, I'll give you the phone number.
I didn't do that. But they kept.
Okay, let's do that. Okay.
Hello guys, this is Spain Suzuki. If you guys don't know, we're filming and setting up the meeting. There's frustrations. And with Andria Tupola, she is getting promoted tomorrow as vice chair for the agenda.
Vice chair of what?
Of city council. So she's getting a pay raise.
Boo.
Rating Codero's going down.
Boo.
Despite all the issues that they've been avoiding the Kapuna Council, because you guys were pro Miley Shimon Bukro and Cedric Gates and Cross. And to me, it's a donkey versus elephant thing. And they've been avoiding us like the plague.
Which is so unfair, because
and then something happened where you can address the public.
Okay, so one thing first with the R and the D, right? Very much like not everybody at the Kupuna Council is with the R or the D, right? Everybody's individual. We come there with problems or we come with solutions, right? We ask our elected officials to come sit with us so we can address the problems.
Various issues, homelessness, housing,
things found in bathrooms at the city and county parks, right? And so we try to address those situations. Sometimes our elected officials feel that the way we coming across that they're feeling like they're being attacked. And that's never, ever, ever what we're trying to do. We're just trying to talk about the issue. It's nothing personal. Now here today with RYSE, we support RYSE. We've been helping homeless from 2019.
Andrew, don't touch me.
And so,
how did that happen?
Okay, so let me just So for 2019, we've been helping RYSE, even when they're still in Kailua. We've been sending our people out there. Now that we have an opportunity to have it here, we've been helping more kids because we work with the ALC kids get housing.
go to a safe place. Some of these kids live in trap houses.
Yes.
Their own family put that type, leave them in that type of environment. And so they come, and to a new and safe place, RYSE comes in and they help us. So today, what really upset me is that we were supposed to, so at the neighborhood board, it was publicly announced that there were going to be a meeting on this street. And so when we got here, the meeting went from the street to a private property. So I think that's breaking sunshine laws.
So the auntie who lives right next door, we won't name any names, did not want to leave the house. And she didn't feel comfortable, you know, both feelings, because we're in private property, stuff can happen and you can't get blamed because it's private property, you know, jurisdiction-wise, because people already wanted to beef and throw blows. You know, people were very vocal, and to me, Samantha, Chris Moroka, Darius, and Tupola, all of them combined cannot stop the violence, the murders, the death, the kills. And what killed us Salcidos the most is this new bill, HB 103. The last murder who killed the 20-year-old, who shot the 9-year-old, you can't prosecute him because they're getting this leeway and byway in the laws. Even like the Shark Boys, you're training the cartels, giving them a buy. That means I can train all the youth underage, give them guns, and they get a scot-free. That ain't right, Steve.
Let me jump on something real fast too. Right?
Yeah,
so
whatever you want to say.
With the elected officials, the names that you just named.
Yeah,
right?
our reps.
Our reps.
This was all of us.
But at the end of the day, we walk with compassion, right, and empathy, knowing that they're individuals. They're just one person trying to make a difference. And we want to work alongside, but if they don't want to work with us, how does it happen?
They get paid. They
we
have
don't,
staff.
and we don't.
We're volunteer,
Yeah.
non-profit, barely, which making no profit.
Yeah.
I'd rather sell Manapu to Maui and dried aku
Yeah.
than deal with political bullshit.
So one of the reasons for Kupuna Council is actually to be a kako'o to our elected officials, because we realize that one person cannot make a difference. But together, if we all take care of what we can make a difference, and we have. But today, what pissed me off the most was Andria coming over here and doing her dictatorship. And every single meeting that we've had or we've tried to host with her,
She shushed you guys.
it becomes Andria's meeting. And then at that point, Andria is not listening to community because she has in her head
An agenda.
her own agenda. Now, if we had an agenda with a piece of paper that we're all on the same page and we could follow an agenda, she called the meeting, there was no agenda. She called the meeting onto the street. They moved it to a private property.
Because of the shade, it's too damn hot.
I think they broke sunshine law because we were supposed to meet at a certain location and they moved it without proper notice. And once you oppose or have a different view, then there's no more meetings.
Yeah, because the first part was about the demo. I'm like, it's already done. What are you building? What are the permits for it? How many units? If it's a 20 unit, it's multifamily commercial.
RYSE did everything they're supposed to do. So the way this Oahu is set up is you go to city and county's neighborhood board meeting, you present to the neighborhood board, and then you go to their subcommittees and you have the meetings there. And RYSE had done everything that they needed to do properly according to the city's rules and laws. And yet, these people on the street is still feeling like they weren't told about the project. When it was said in neighborhood board since 2023, so over a year. And so today didn't go so well on our side because the meeting went from here to there, and then we got shush, and they got to have their bitch fest. And I just hope and pray that RYSE can still have their project.
Like the mediating didn't work. That's what's irritating everybody, and that's why even Salcidos don't hamal them. They even try hamal me. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, especially on the west side.
Yeah.
That just rages our flames even more. We don't even give a shit. The point is we're supposed to empower the youth.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a building permit, 20 units, XYZ, that's commercial. You got to change the zoning. But I caught the bus here. There's no sidewalk. There's no street lights. And if you walk by 70 Corner to get a drink, there's so much hobos and bums lying by the bus stop. It's not safe. I don't recommend any girl. Exactly. I don't recommend any girls come down this path, especially at night, because something bad going to happen. It ain't good.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
7-Eleven Makaha, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right down the road, get on Trap House. Everybody in this community know about that.
Trap House.
We're going to go
Gambling
grumble
house.
about building 9 homes for house 18 to 24 years old. Fucking stupid. Ridiculous.
I hope they build the house themselves, or whatever. They learn the skill set.
Andrea gets somebody coming in with cheaper, right?
Well, they're trying to mediate this thing because
This is what else I found
she's
out
getting
from somebody
promoted.
who was here too, that lived in the village.
Let's tell them all.
That the day after Twinkles passed away, there was
Oh boy, here we
village.
go.
There was a village meeting that Andrea showed up to and said, "Can I be your leader?" can I help you guys navigate this? And the village told her no. And so she still found her way through James Pakele them and still getting her things done with her dictatorship and whatever else. But again, not going back to the proper community, the people that it seemed like Samantha. Samantha
She showed up magically to DC, didn't say anything to you guys, and I was warned to lay off of our reps and senators today.
Samantha goes to DC. She goes and talks about Makua without talking to Uncle Ben Stodge, Uncle Sparky Rodriguez, Auntie Lynette Cruz,
So it's a
Uncle
show.
Rocky Madaris. No Uncle Rocky Naiole, not coming to any of our kupunas that actually been doing work for Makua and making a meeting in a Pentagon to talk about Makua and not even talking to community. This is what I'm saying about these new elected officials.
The new
in
officials
this
running game on us, pretending you represent all the Lahui, but they don't talk to us.
Yeah.
They don't even have questions. They're here the whole time. They're begging on the knee, looking good for the camera.
Yeah.
But they're not being honest.
Yeah.
And straight up.
So why not? We suffer already, and we're going to suffer more because our representation doesn't represent us.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
But we thank you, Pikachu, for
Well, we're
doing all
still
this
live.
legislative
Thank
stuff.
God I'm still here. Otherwise, I'd still be bullshitting.
Let's see what those kupunas like say. Auntie Pam is pissed right now. Let's see
Let them interview you. Maybe my head got questions for you.
Thanks for telling me about that. I'm just the one that's thank you.
We got everybody here. Coming around. More interviews. And this is the property that they're going to build. You got James over there.
The statistics that the state get and the statistics I get as Kupuna Council. When I go home, I get this kind of Suzuki. But thank you for coming and answering the call. I can't need this. Dr. Rock, I live right down the road. Don't leave until I come back. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go home and fast.
Hey, we should barbecue. It's like learn from Jesus. We can't barbecue. We can't get together. You gotta break bread, bro. That's why they got issues. They're all hot, hangry. They're hot. So if you're looking down this road, there's no street lights. It's a far walk to the bus stop. Just to let y'all know. So more than likely, they don't have a car. You can see the sign up there. So you'd have to walk all the way from the bus stop in the corner, back and forth to this property. We don't got a car. We're going to go back to the side and get the follow-up. You can get a good shot of the property. Yeah, you can see my hand right there in the corner. But it goes down real deep. Here's get a corner shot. But if you want any of the other side, because this is more on the resident side, you can get more on the RYSE perspective. Yeah. And they're willing to talk to the Kapuna, like the next village or some old grandma. But I love this. Guys, come on. Yeah, it came all the way here. I guess so. Like, you know, DJ tell me, you know, a lot of stuff, and I'm just getting promoted. It's a special meeting. So whatever happens, so here she's trying to make a I know what you got. So you're ready for your making sure you're there. So yeah. We're still live. Oh, it all came out. I got chick skin. You guys make this more entertaining than the news. And the news is here on all. I can hear you saying.
I know how you say it. I know how you feel.
They didn't get credit.
the facility that they built by my place.
Oh, they built it by you?
Yeah, no, it's not
Okay.
This is the quietest I've ever seen. Nobody's like, yeah. Because I know your voice.
and basically the process slipped by. The surveyors came one morning. And they were surveying the property. And
Good man.
they were walking around the neighborhood.
We still going?
They're jumping.
The truth, nothing but the truth. So help you, G-O-D, Allah, Confucius, Lao Tzu, idol. Because they're not addressing your hearts.
About 6:30, they were jumping things.
That's me.
Surveying the equipment, the ribbon, they put them on the fence. And so when my neighbor asked me,
can I speak Chinese to me? Hama? What are they now? What are they now?
every Saturday, all the way to Makaha, take a back with me. I live in my I grew up How come out? What then is it? So, I know what we want to do.
Your own family first. Hear your family first before you start going on YouTube. The reason why I'm fighting is for my business. I'm a guy who
when I saw his guys, I'm like, I knew you guys lived here, but I never thought about right here. So you guys seen all that crap.
Get away, camera.
Run, right?
Right, the next day, they closed the bridge. They closed the bridge. Because people like go look at people.
Right? And let's say I'm Ryan. I should show you guys the architecture, the building, the plans, the permits, right? So you guys know how it looks, and you gotta pay the architecture X amount, right, to give you the illustrations. Then you come present to the board, right? But that's not what it sounds like at all. They don't know nothing. When you start bringing the terms like manifest and then things like she's like, what? I'm like, I can tell because I don't know what that means. I know what a manifest is, like for planes. But something is shady and squirrely, and you got a contractor here. Oh, I'm not the higher contractor. I'm like half a contractor. I did some of the work, but we didn't burrito wrap that stuff. And now you're all covering up the cover up from the demo. This for 10 years.
I'm a first
About
time.
2 weeks after I was told that, it was like,
I built houses before.
young adults. And I was like, oh.
I have to get the paperwork. Before you even start even doing spot in the ground. Before I started even making the family side job. Just to build my fence, I'm not even doing it. I'm on the fence. I'm right? So
Right? This is the first time I've ever seen that lady.
I put up fences in my
She was never at the one I went to.
You don't expect to stop by and tell me, where's your permit? I said, I get them in my book. Makaha here, you get strong wind, the devil is, you rip everything apart.
Yeah.
I said, I wanted this to go. No, I wanted this big pole right here.
The gym.
I said, okay, I'm going to make some copies. No copies. I want the original pole displayed on top of this.
They don't like her cup. Austin doesn't like her cup.
So, you get all of this. I get thick. But this guy's like, oh, all you guys said no. This is like, how many neighbor boards you guys been to? We're catered everywhere. We're all sitting here. They keep on coming back, shoving down the throat. The demo.
Like I said,
Line about this.
I understand that.
Yeah, they're trying to spin it because I heard Carla on the news. The Jews were trying to youth and KPs are two different things. So you're telling me you bring a 14-year-old here, not even house, they're going to catch the bus in the middle of the car, they're on job. And you said if they F up, they're going to pick up for 3 days, where they're going to go? They're going to walk by all your houses. And someone's going to cause trouble, right? Don't you think that when they're coming back to your they just reach down there.
They come from my house to Grandma's house.
What school are you going to go to?
They used to do all like go to school. Just walk back and forth whenever they would have been able to do that.
Not going to college. Join the military. The solution is join the military. So, okay, they go there and then they say, okay, tomorrow you guys got to be downtown. So you guys can doctor appointment. How
The second generation.
Her daughter.
Because they're concerned about the human trafficking, drug
We got to pick up Maya. Oh, she fell on it? Oh, wait a minute. Sometime. Oh, she
Get the money.
I saw Kaikoa.
Don't put them in your fucking pocket.
Auntie, great job. Did they tell you how much they're going to get per kid? Like for, if I'm RYSE, I got 20 units. How much they get paid by the government to take care of one child? Did they tell you? First, like foster kids, right? Let's say we're RYSE, and I got 20 kids right now. How much is RYSE being paid by the government? 5,000 times 20? 100 grand times that's 1.2 million monthly.
Well, there's a thing there. I saw him in the back of the truck. I think somebody else was in the truck. So I just
insurance, medical, all that.
They can go make up some place. Walk, get plenty empty land. They can make something for the whole fucking island.
She took the money from the Kailua property, right? And they bought this one, right? That was the problem. They already bought this property with that other money from the fund from Kailua. So they $3 million. They bought this without talking to you guys first and tried to sneakily build it up. Now they get it. But you was funny, Auntie. I don't care who you are. I'll go beef you.
I know everything now because I can't reach my daughter.
Oh yeah.
No, I can't, thank you.
Sorry, right now I got water down.
I get gold over here.
Oh, what is it? Ants. Holy shit.
You can see the residents here. We're closing out. Even though they tried to shush and hamao us, they said we're closing down the meeting. I said they live here. How are you going to close down the meeting? We're not the Puna Council. We're not the City Council. Rapido, did you just tell them to go home? And look at this. We are home. We're not leaving. We got a barbecue. You guys didn't learn from Jesus? No one can break bread. No one can get nothing done. You got to eat them, feed them, so we can work together. Nana Cooley understands.
We gotta understand the process, and I believe we do. If they do an investigation, they got to look into Governor Josh Green and his homeless coordinator, or former homeless coordinator, John Mizuna. Because all of this crap is based on their decision. Or we trying to figure out, is it an emergency proclamation or is it not an emergency proclamation?
Not this
because
one.
on the DPP website, it's understood to be one governor's emergency proclamation, which is violated under HRS 127A-1. Okay, this is not the homeless. This is for, not the affordable housing. This is the homeless and Kalahari under the emergency proclamation. Okay, so we need to launch a federal investigation. Federal because it's independent of the city and the state.
Using federal money, correct?
Yes, through HUD. We gotta find out what the process, I'm almost certain is violated. Somebody is lying or misrepresenting the truth about the emergency proclamation, or it's just a special exemption. We just trying to find out. So somebody needs to
Someone's getting paid
be
off.
accountable and dealt with in a severe fashion because of their honest
Misappropriation of funding.
Misappropriation of funding, misuse of funding.
Fraud, waste, and abuse, money laundering, embezzlement. But I want to get some of the local guys. They don't get to come out to the board so often. I want you guys to hear their words. OG, anything you want to add on? People can get your message across. Oh, both of them. Where wants to go first? So,
A lot of the residents here, we're labeled wrong, that we don't like to support the younger youth or the young adults, but that is the misconception we have here. We want to support the youth, we want to help them, but the non-transparency with the RYSE coming out here with the lack of sharing what their plan was in the first place is wrong. They should have had done their homework. They should have had a planning committee, which they lacked. Previous meetings, they said they didn't have a planning committee. They could have come out here, did a site survey on the correct location that would facilitate the proper resources here on this property. But it lacks all of that. If you walk through this street at night, it's pitch black. So you're going to subject a lot of their clients to the dark roads out
10
here.
o'clock curfew.
They have a 10 o'clock curfew. If the gates are closed out, they have nowhere to go here. They'll be sleeping in the yards of the neighbors. And that is not right. So again, we support the youth and having to help them out, but the location here does not support their operations. Lack of water support, sewer support, lighting support, and they're basically putting them in danger. So that's my take as a resident here. And again, I've been labeled wrong that we don't like the youth here, like they spoke earlier, and I think that's wrong to label the residents here in this community.
Have they told you guys about the building process of what they're going to build?
Yeah, they're building a facility here to facilitate at least 20 of the younger youths. And again, the water supply system or even the sewer systems does not support that type of facility here. They would have to get permitting for the state. We're not even sure that they'll even approve that. But yet the land was already purchased, so it was pretty much purchased, not being transparent with what their full operations was going to be before they, purchased that property. They didn't share it with the community.
Thank you very much, Uncle, for sharing. And so this is how you get the truth from the residents who actually live here. We're not at a board, we're not at city council, we're not at a crop level. And people got to hear how you really feel, because you guys come here every day, day in and day out. And I want people to address your hearts and your concerns, because all of those representatives were here, and this is representing us. Not shushing us among you guys, because that just irritates Pikachu the shit. But I love it when you guys solid and come through. So support the local residents, because I'm sure you wouldn't want it next to your grandma's place or anything like that. All right? We do support the youth, but join the military. You're going to get $1 million to go build your own house. If you're going to build a unit, build your own house. Learn the trade skill sets and become your own man. can see everyone here. We're not against RYSE. It's not at this location. You can find another location and do whatever you want because there is no sidewalk, there is no street lights. The bus is going to cut off at a certain time, and it's getting dark, and somebody died earlier on the road. Auntie's nephew got hit on the side of the road. He got it on camera, and there was a hit and run. So it's very dangerous, especially at night. I do not recommend this place at all at night. You're going to stop by the 7-Eleven Makaha in the corner, probably get something to drink. But there's choke homeless, choke bums. Just go in by the bus stop in the corner. They sleep right across the beach. This is not a great environment, just to let y'all know. So chihu to all of you. Thank y'all for watching. Share, like this video. And Pikachu will be at City Council tomorrow. Wednesdays are Honolulu Police Commission. I'm definitely going to set up a testimony saying no Benjamin Moskowitz. I don't want that Pillsbury Dole boy from Big Island trying to tell you guys what to do. He can't even handle Puna. Talk about ocean and all that other stuff. Another day, another time. And thank y'all for watching. Appreciate you guys. Pikachu loves you guys for watching. Thank you.